Howdy, this is Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert, a NASCAR podcast. It was sure chilly. Nonetheless, a great time was had at Wall Stadium Speedway for the 52nd running of the Turkey Derby. Main event for both days. Top modified drivers in the area, plus many from the national tours, would be set to battle it out on the banked short track of Wall. Tyler Truex, Jimmy Blewitt, James Blewitt, Luke Baldwin, Jack Baldwin, Max Zachem, Andy Jankowiak, Matt Hirschman, Andrew Krause, and many others would be set to put it all on the line. The big tour modified race would be 150 laps Saturday night, with 15 grand up for grabs to the winner. That wouldn't be all the racing action of the weekend, as the Thanksgiving Classic and Bill Bigley Memorial would be going on as well. Discussions with Dave breaks down all the on-track news, plus all the off-season NASCAR updates and what's going on in the courtroom for the lawsuit involving NASCAR versus 2311 and Front Row. Yellow flag, green flag, paint scheme of the week, interviews with Tyler Truex, Andy Jankowiak, and Jack Baldwin from the Turkey Derby, and so much more on this episode of Splash of Gas. Breakdown and predictions for the Snowball Derby, plus full-length interviews with Derek Thorne and Tristan McKee on our second episode this week. As always, we're sponsored by Magical Travel with Dave, aka Disney Dave Weichert, my father. He will be able to help you with all your Disney and Universal vacation needs. He can be reached at DisneyDaveW@Verizon.net. Please make sure you follow all the Splash of Gas social medias for midweek and on-track updates. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are all Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert. Now for the start of our live coverage from the Turkey Derby. From you live from Wall Stadium. Turkey Derby is going on at Wall Speedway here in New Jersey. The big 150-lap tour modified race is tomorrow on Saturday. There's 5 different feature races today, including the Wall Stadium modifieds, which will be a 100-lap race. The 4 other features are for the 4 cylinders, legend cars, factory stocks, and limited late models. Been in the grandstands for the qualifying. A windy, chilly day for sure. A lot of people here. Really exciting to be back here at Wall. Cannot wait to see those modifieds run 100 laps today. We'll keep you updated. Even though it was cold and windy throughout the weekend at the Turkey Derby, spirits were high for great end-of-season racing. Results from Friday, starting with the 4 cylinders, 30 laps. Would be won by Carlos Grenier, but after inspection, he would be disqualified, giving the win to Ian Ashford. Legends cars, 30 laps. Tanner Jones grabs the win. Factory stocks, 50 laps. Johnny Carpenter grabs the checkered flag. Limited late models, CJ Lehman gets the top spot in that 50-lap event. Now for the recap of the Wall Modifieds 100-lap race was the main event Friday night. 2025 Wall Modified champ Tyler Truex, nephew to Martin Truex Jr., would be on the pole. Anthony Sesley would be next to him, making up the front row. After leading early, Truex would fall to third, as Sesley and Max Zachem now run second and third. Laps later, Sesley would get slow with Zachem rocking to the lead and starting the lap cars. And man, was that 20 fast. After a number of yellows, we see the field restart with 23 to go. Zachem and Blake Barney on the front row with Truex and Steven Reed behind them. Like he had all night on the restarts, Zachem gets the jump and leads. Reed gets the second and is on the bumper of Max. With 3 laps to go, heartbreak for Zachem. Max will be exiting turn 4 while trying to navigate lap traffic, getting held up by the 49. Reed didn't expect that, which sent the most dominant car to that point in the race, spinning through the start-finish line. Was sure exciting from the grandstands. I was in turn 1. Must say, with Zachem being out of town, was cheers when he crashed, as Wall local Stephen Reed would then take the lead. Reed and Matt Hirschman restart with 3 laps to go. The two make contact several times, but Reed would be strong. Stephen Reed would get the win Friday night at the Turkey Derby. Hirschman in second and Tyler Truex in third. Now for trivia question time. This episode's question is 3 parts. What year did Wall Stadium Speedway open? What was the first year Wall hosted the Turkey Derby? And what was the reasoning for the start of the event? Answers coming at the end. And we're back for day 2 of the Turkey Derby at Wall Speedway. Some fabulous racing in the modifieds. The Wall modifieds yesterday, they ran 100 laps. The Tour modifieds will run 150 laps today. You can hear the TQ midgets just getting on track for their practice currently. Definitely going to be another chilly one, all bundled up already. Looks like to be another clear, beautiful day. We'll keep you updated with all the Turkey Derby action. The first practice section for the Tour Modifieds just wrapped up. 602 Sportsmen's are practicing currently. There will be a last chance practice session for the Tour Modifieds if they want to straighten any last things out. A lot of people working on the cars right now. Pits is a little bit of a madhouse, but hey, that's when you know it's race day. Saw Jimmy Showtime Blewitt getting out of the car. Andy Jankowiak, ARCA racer, who's in this race in the 73, was working on his family-owned modified. Everyone's making it happen. High spirits on the chilly Bluebird day over here in Jersey. We'll keep you in the know. Right off his Wall Modified Track Championship from this past season, Tyler Truex looks to defend his home turf from the out-of-towners this Turkey Derby. After a solid P3 run Friday, Ryan would be ready to go for Saturday. Here's what he had to say before qualifying Saturday morning. Dave White here with Tyler Truex. You were third yesterday, started from the pole yesterday. How are you feeling in the 11 today, man?
Really good. I just got to thank Matty Ricco for the opportunity to come out here and play with the tour stuff. I don't get many opportunities to go do that kind of stuff, so it's nice, especially at a track. We had a lot of success this year. We won the track championship this year here, so I was glad to follow it up with a decent finish yesterday. I wish we were 2 spots better. I think we had the car too. It just kind of went away with it on us up there at the end. But for today, I think we got a good car with the 11 Torch car. We're also in the 59 Sportsman. Joe King, his father passed away a couple days ago, so we're racing with heavy hearts this week. Try to get one for Joe King Sr. in either car. So.
Gotcha. Getting a lot of track time today. Typically following the 3 national series, New Jersey guy myself, is there a difference from the Wall modifieds to the Tour modifieds, or not really?
Everything's identical except engine. There's just about 100 more horsepower when it comes from the Wall mod to the Tour. It's definitely different, especially a little bull ring like this. You carry a lot more speed down the straightaway, a lot more entry speed. So it's not, some tracks it's not too crazy different. It'd be a lot different if we were going from the 602 to the Tour, but the Tour to the Wall mod isn't crazy, but once you get to the race, it's a lot different as far as pace-wise. These Tour guys know what they're doing.
Gotcha. Have a long 150 today. Any goals besides winning?
Just keep the wheels on it, get past the pit stop, and just see if we can close the deal out. Like I said, as long as we're there after the pit stop and can be in contention at the end, that's all we ask for.
Awesome. Heck yeah. Best of luck, all right?
Thank you, buddy. Cool.
Thank you. Now for our pre-race chat with Andy Jankowiak, the Tonawanda, New York native. Had the 73 modified just at Riverhead, New York for the Islip 300. Andy typically has been racing in the Turkey Derby the last several years. He's been at the front of the pack at several ARCA races this season. Andy and his crew were busy getting the car ready when I was speaking to him. Here's what Andy J had to say after the practice sessions. Hey, Viker here with Andy Jankowiak, Turkey Derby. Just had a couple practice sessions. A couple weeks ago, you were at the Islip 300. I know that didn't go the way you wanted. How you been feeling the off-season racing here, man?
What's an off-season? I never heard of it. Riverhead's kind of a different obstacle for him. We haven't quite figured that one out, but we feel pretty good here. So a lot of cars, just got to make sure we don't, do anything silly in time trial and screw that up. But I think we'll be all right. We're usually pretty good in time, so just got to go nail a lap.
Gotcha. Had a couple practice sessions. Saw you wrenching on the car. How's it feeling, man? How's 73 feeling?
Everything feels good. It's turning good. Practice, we run our Riverhead tires. I think we're P13, so, we'll take that and work on it a little bit and see what happens.
Just as you mentioned, it's a long day, 150 laps, 6-tire race. Any mindset, any goals for today?
Yeah, win. We led the white flag lap here last time, and it didn't work out. So, no, we're going to try to win it.
Heck yeah. Really hope we get there. Looking for 2026. I mean, we were talking last January when you were doing the ARCA practice. How are things looking on the ARCA side for next year for you, man?
Looking good. Should be at least the same. We're locked up with Wheeling, so we got started with that. That's where we always start. We're trying to add a couple. We got some exciting new ones coming in, and no one's leaving, so that's always good.
Awesome. Can't wait to see you in Daytona. Best luck today, all right?
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep, thanks, Andy.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Always great talking to Andy. He really keeps it real. Now for our third and final pre-race interview from Wall, Jack Baldwin, son of Tommy Baldwin and brother of Luke. He just finished 5th in the Smart Modified Tour Championship battle, competing in a full season. He also made select Tour-type modified events as well. Here's what Jack had to say at Wall. Jack Baldwin here at the Turkey Derby, about to run 150 laps in the Tour Modifieds. How you feeling today, man?
Excited to be back up here at Wall Stadium for what's hopefully not the last Turkey Derby. Still getting a feel for things, trying to feel the car out, figure it out. I've only been on 100-lap tires, so pretty old, pretty far gone. But we think we'll be all right. Just bolted on some stickers for second practice. Hopefully we can pick up a couple tenths.
Gotcha. 6-tire race here today. Any expectations for a long race here? Or?
This is one of those races where you just got to survive to the end. There's a lot of carnage that happens in the second half of this race, and if you can stay out of that, you'll end up with a solid top 10.
Gotcha. Anything you learned from the few practice sessions?
They sprayed the top, but the groove is moving around a lot more than it usually does in terms of raw speed-wise, what you're going to get out of like a 2-lap qualifying run. So that's been tricky to figure out and find because it's changing so much. The track's getting so much break with how much rubber has been put down from earlier yesterday to today and how long the track's been sitting with the guardrail been destroyed. So just trying to find that and find the right balance for where we need to be has been a little bit tricky, but hopefully we figure that out.
Okay, gotcha. Best of luck today. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Tour Modifieds are about to start their qualifying. We'll see who can grab the top spot and take the pole. Great being in the pits. Enjoyed every second of it. Now for the Day 2 recap. 4 feature races would be in action on Saturday. TQ Midgets, All-Pro Speed SRTs, 602 Sportsman, and the big race of the night, the 150-lap race of the Tour Modifieds. Tough day for the 62 Sportsman car after he ends up practically through the guardrail. He was okay. It did cause a 2-hour delay to weld a new guardrail back in place. That's short track racing for you sometimes. After qualifying, 11 Tour Modified drivers failed to qualify for the feature race. They would make up a 25-lap B-main. James Pritchard would be victorious. He would be given the final spot in the main event. TQ Midgets would be in action, 25 laps, and be won by Tyler Ferris. All-Pro Speed SRTs would run 20 laps and be won by Matt Janisch. 602 Sportsman would be in action for 23 laps after a shortened schedule with the earlier delays and be won by Kevin Davison. Now for the recap of the Tour Modified race at the Turkey Derby. After the qualifying session on Saturday morning, Matt Big Money Hirschman would win the pole being the fastest, but would start 10th after the redraw. Tommy Martino and Luke Baldwin start the 150-lap dash up front. There would be several early yellows. The pair of Martino and Baldwin restart with 95 laps to go. Unfortunately for Luke, his modified would lose power, ending his day early. Martino would lead as Timmy Solomino would be up to second. With 63 laps to go, Kyle Sisko bounces Solomino from the second spot. 3 cautions later, Kyle Sisko would be bumped out of the way by Stephen Kopech. On the following restart, Solomino would be leading, followed by Stephen Reed. Then another yellow would fly with 34 to go, as Martino would go into the guardrail after leading most of the race. Another yellow, Solomino and Max Zachem would restart with 30 to go. Solomino gets the jump as Zachem follows. 15 to go, the two are side by side. 2 laps later, Zachem would make the pass for the lead. Can Zachem hold off Solomino? Yes, he would. Max Zachem, after heartbreak the night before in the Wall Modifieds, he wins the Tour Modified race at the Turkey Derby. Very roller coaster of a weekend for Zachem. More on that on Discussions with Dave. Quick look back at the predictions we made for Turkey Derby. Went with Luke Baldwin. He finishes at the back of the pack after having engine issues early. Yellow flag, green flag. Yellow flag, Wall Modifieds. Short track racing can get wild and outcomes can change very quickly. We saw that Friday evening. More of a heartbreak yellow, but to Max Zachem. Leading most of the race, Zachem goes spinning across the start-finish line with 2 to go, ending him in 18th position. Seems like the outcome Friday showed Zachem there was plenty left on the table for Saturday's Tour Modified event. Green flag, Wall Modifieds. Stephen Reed, the local to Wall Stadium in the Pete and Elda's pizza car, was towards the front all night. Once the deck reshuffled, he pounced and grabbed the top spot. Yellow flag, Tour Modifieds. Unfortunately, early nights for both of the Baldwin brothers. With how good each of them have been in 2025, was expecting them to contend, but mechanical issues happen. Green flag, Tour Modifieds. We just talked about him on the yellow flag for the Wall Mods. Max Zachem, green flag. The Connecticut native stays focused in the long race and is able to make the pass for the win late. Congratulations, Max. Hard-working weekend for him. Wanted to briefly touch upon my experience throughout the Turkey Derby this past weekend at Wall. I grew up as a little kid and throughout my time at Monmouth University, going to the races throughout the summers at Wall, the Roar at the Jersey Shore. In all honesty, it's been a number of years since I've been to a Turkey Derby, and man, was I missing it. As I mentioned, it was cold, but the top-notch racing action kept you warm. Went to my typical spot in turn 1 where you could see the drivers drive in and get that drive out into the backstretch. Something my grandfather taught me, and I always just look for in that specific spot. It really shows a lot about how good the cars are looking at that section. Both days had packed grandstands, and a packed grandstand means a packed field. Drivers from all over the area would be looking to nab one last end-of-year check before the 2025 racing season ends on the East Coast. All in all, 10 out of 10, 3 thumbs up at Wall Speedway. Now for Discussions with Dave. We were just talking about him, Max Zachem. The Connecticut native, what a weekend he just had at Wall. Strongest car on Friday night, gets spun right at the end, comes home P18. Nothing to show. Saturday, saw Zachem in the pits. I was really surprised how loose he was laughing, talking with friends and crew. To someone that lost Friday night the way he did, I wouldn't expect that. Nonetheless, Zachem is able to avoid some of the wrecks that occurred early in the Turkey Derby. He makes the pass late, and he's victorious. He earned it, hard working all throughout the weekend. Different topic, but same area code. Pulse check on the state of short track racing in the Northeast, specifically New Jersey. As long as I've been going to Wall Speedway, unfortunately, there's been rumors practically every year that the Speedway, the owners, would not let the promoters, for years and years, it was the Krause family. Now in 2026, Jimmy Showtime Blewitt will take over as the main promoter of Wall Stadium. But there's been so many rumors that the past season would be the last at Wall. You could hear that in the interview with Jack Baldwin. But when it got to time to drop the green flag for the main events on Friday and Saturday, if you were standing trackside and you looked up at that grandstand, you would not think that you're at a racetrack in New Jersey. It's packed. New Jersey as a state might not have the racing stigma. Nonetheless, the fans showed up. And if you host it, if you build it, they will come. On the other side of racing in New Jersey was announced New Egypt, a dirt track, will not have racing in 2026. I do have faith with Jimmy Showtime Blewitt, someone who's been local and in the sport for such a long time, but not just local at Wall, but on the national modified tours as well. I believe and I truly hope and pray that Wall Speedway will stay open for years and years to come. Now for the off-track NASCAR news that everyone, including the national media, has been talking about. The lawsuit between NASCAR and 2311 and Front Row Motorsports. They have gone to court this week, and to say it's getting sticky is an understatement. Very fluid situation, but here's what we know so far. The landmark federal antitrust trial against NASCAR opened Monday with an emotional start. Denny Hamlin, the first witness, the judge at the beginning of the day also said Hamlin could not be present unless he gives his testimony first. And he went on for 3.5 hours. Hamlin would break down in the first several minutes of the testimony as his business partner, Michael Jordan, watched on. Denny grew emotional when asked how he first got into racing. He would pause several times to compose himself, explaining that his father's declining health also weighed on him very heavily. We knew that he was going through that at the time of the championship and the end of this season, unfortunately, and that was told to us again in court. The judge, Judge Bell, at the end of the day, said, if we can be less confrontational about it next time, maybe you'll get what you want to do. The no-nonsense judge was snapping back at both sides, as it kind of seems like the judge is almost saying that this isn't going anywhere, guys. Hamlin did go on to say when the charter agreement was first signed, there was 19 teams. Now, 11 of those 19 teams are not in business anymore. Still, many testimonies to go from various people, and there is so much to peel back on each and every day. I'm by no means a law expert, trying to follow on as best as I can. Nonetheless, a lot of drama and information to be given to us. Doing my best to keep it updated day by day. Other racing action. Saturday, the Bill Bigley Sr. Memorial 128 would be going on at the Freedom Factory in Bradenton. George Gorham Jr. runs away with it and dominates. Ty Majeski and Carson Hocevar come home second and third. And then Sunday was the Thanksgiving Classic. When I was looking at the results of the Bill Bigley Memorial and the Thanksgiving Classic, I had to do a double take. I truthfully thought that I was looking at the results from a wrong year. Ty Majeski was in both of them. We know how good Ty is in late models and at short tracks. No hiding that. But kudos to Ty for running both races. I know he didn't get the wins he wanted. Unfortunately, him and Lee Pullman come together after they each had top-notch cars. In the end, the Thanksgiving Classic would be won by Doug Barnes Jr., Air Doug. Barnes Jr. didn't even qualify on Saturday as he was at a wedding. He starts shotgun on the field, 28th. He ran the cleanest race, avoids all the mayhem that occurred in front of him. He goes and takes the checkered flag. Congrats to Doug Barnes Jr. Now for Paint Scheme of the Week. Part 1. Wall Speedway Tour Modifieds Turkey Derby. Giving it this time to the modified of Andy Jankowiak, the 73. The front of the car is light blue. Then there is yellow, orange, and red trim that blend in with the numbers into navy blue at the tail end of the car. I've always found this color combination eye-catching when he's running, if I'm watching on TV, or of course at the Turkey Derby. And as a race fan, I love how Andy has kept this same paint scheme year in and year out. Wanted to touch on that. Now for racing history time. As we gear up for the Snowball Derby, we talk about Snowball Derbies of past years. Pete Hamilton found himself in the spotlight twice in the span of 2 years at the Derby. In 1973, he grabbed the pole, but the celebration didn't last. Officials and even some fellow competitors questioned the look of Hamilton's car, and after closer inspection, he was ordered to make changes. The adjustments knocked him out of contention, and he didn't have a chance at the win that year. Hamilton didn't let it go. He came back the next year determined in 94 to prove he could win with a fully legal setup. He took the pole again, this time with no controversy, and he backed it up, winning the Snowball Derby in 1974. 2007, sockets in the pockets. After the last chance race, Steve Wallace rolled across the scales and came up light. Too light to make the field, in fact. But on the second trip over the scales, the car mysteriously weighed more. Officials took a closer look and quickly uncovered the trick. Wallace had stuffed sockets in his pockets to tip the number on the scale to his and his team's favor. He was tossed from the Snowball Derby, of course, and that moment instantly joined short track lore, a story still passed along throughout the garage and typically still brings out a chuckle. Now for Discussions with Dave, Part 2. Was announced this week, Joe Gibbs Racing has sold its manufacturing division to a private equity firm. More on that in upcoming episodes. This equity firm intends to invest over $25 million to expand operations and generate dozens of new jobs in the Charlotte area. Not 100% sure if or how this will affect the racing operations of Joe Gibbs Racing. Interesting story nonetheless. Looking forward on hearing more on this. Next topic was announced Connor Jones will return to Nice Motorsports for a part-time schedule in the 42 truck. Jones, we've seen race the truck on part-time schedules before and be dominant in the late models as well. Excited to see what tracks Connor will race at next year. More silly season news. The next one I'm really excited for. Gavin Boschel, the Clyde Hart Memorial winner from 2025, was there on site when Gavin won earlier this year before the Daytona 500. It's announced that he signs with Nitro Motorsports at the ARCA Menard Series. We saw how fast that 70 Nitro ARCA car was this year, nabbing multiple wins. With a hot shot, young up-and-coming driver of Boschel at the wheel, I think it will only spell success for the pairing. That wraps up this episode's edition of Discussions with Dave. Now for trivia answer time. As mentioned, this episode's question is 3 parts. What year did Wall Stadium Speedway open in? Answer, 1950. Yes, Wall is in its 75th season. What is the first year that Wall hosted the Turkey Derby, and what was the reasoning behind the start of the event. Turkey Derby started in 1974, and because if fans could sit outside to watch football, why couldn't they do it for auto racing? And I was there this year to report the fans still come in droves. As always, we're sponsored by Magical Travel with Dave, aka Disney Dave Weichert, my father. He will be able to help you with all your Disney and Universal vacation needs. He can be reached at DisneyDaveW@Verizon.net. Please make sure you follow all the Splash of Gas social medias for midweek and on-track updates. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are all Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert. Hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving with their friends and family as well. Stay warm out there, folks. Till next time, Splash of Gas out.